Hello, cyberspace. It's me, Angie, and I welcome both you and your ears to an episode of Life, Love, Music, and Space Travel. In case you're wondering who Angie is, I'm Angie, and I'm super stoked to spend some time sharing with y'all some of my experiences and thoughts on living, loving, music, and space travel, or spiritual experiences as I often refer to as space travel. A rather broad spectrum, right? Well, my hope is to always share something that resonates with, intrigues, excites, or perhaps inspires you. On that note, I invite you to sit back, buckle up, and take a little trip out into the cosmos with me. Hello, cyberspace. It's me, Angie, coming to you with episode number 63 of my podcast, Life, Love, Music, and Space Travel. It has been a few minutes since my last episode. I feel like it's been actually 3 months. I have been on a bit of a hiatus, and I am going with the title of this episode, which is where I've been, Summer Tour 2024. Holy moly. This is definitely a music-inspired episode, and I am focusing on every concert I took in this summer. I actually went to Colorado to spend the summer there. I lived in Colorado for a long time, and this summer I decided to go back and work. My great diner family, the Eagle Diner in Eagle, Colorado, they invite me to come back. My goal was to work, make a bunch of money, bring it back, pay off all my bills. I did work, pay off a bunch of bills, all the stuff I had been doing before I went to Colorado. But I didn't come back with much money because I went on tour. I'm not in a band. I just live the rock and roll lifestyle. And I'm going to give you a rundown on all of the fantastic music that I was able to take in and the venues that I went to. This episode is sort of meant to inspire you. For those of you who didn't get to see any music, for those of you who are thinking of going to see some music, maybe you can just connect with me and I'll remind you of what it was like and you can reminisce on your fantastic summer. But it really was an incredible 3 months that I spent. My summer actually began a bit early. Wilmington, North Carolina is where I'm located. I left here on June 5th and I headed to Las Vegas, the city of sin. I don't know that it was so sinful necessarily, but it was sinfully wonderful. As mentioned, my summer began a bit early. On June 6th and 7th, I took in 2 incredible, spectacular nights with Dead & Company at the Sphere. Oh my goodness, it's everything you hear and more. They began my summer tour. I celebrated my 22 years off the sauce. Yeah, I don't drink anymore or really do anything anymore. And that was my spectacular celebration. I'm a super big Deadhead. I thought about not going. I didn't really know what to expect, but then I saw the videos and I heard stuff from Fish and I figured, I was like, what the fuck, I'm going. And I'm going to celebrate my way into Colorado. So those 2 days definitely felt like summer to me. I stayed in Old Vegas, the Fremont Street experience. For anyone who knows Fremont Street, maybe there was some sinning going on in that part of town, but the price point was great and it made it very feasible for me to afford my 2 nights at the Sphere. I want to give, first off, just big props to the people who are running the Sphere, the employees. They were incredible. They were organized. It was hotter than hell there. Literally, I think it was 112 degrees, maybe both days. I happened to be looking at the television one night. It was 8 o'clock or something, maybe on the first night that I got there. And I'm pretty sure it said 108. And I thought for sure something was broken. I haven't been in that kind of heat maybe ever. It was definitely hot. And so the next 2 days, there was a fair amount of standing outside. I actually opted in for some sort of a contest that they had where they chose some people to get in early, and I won both nights. I had floor seats anyway, but you got to kind of go to the head of the line, which was very cool. I definitely got a good spot inside both nights, general admission. On the floor, I was probably maybe 5 or 6 people deep. That's it. It was really spectacular. And although I was incredibly close to the band and able to take in staring at them as much as I wanted, I think I looked at the ceiling more than anything, as did most of the people there. The technology is incredible. The visual stuff was amazing. There were 2 different moments where I thought either the stage was rising or the floor was dropping. And as mentioned, I wasn't on anything. I hadn't taken anything. It was just totally sober Angie. And the first time it happened, I quickly figured out that neither was taking place. The second time it happened, I wasn't really sure. I still think maybe the stage was rising. It was incredible. Inside the sphere was a cool temperature, but it was hot with music-driven emotional heat. They were pretty amazing. I'll give Bobby some big props. He sang a Johnny Be Good at a tempo I have not heard him sing at in quite some time. It was impressive. It was moving. Once again, the technology. I had a moment where I had yet gotten to Colorado, and I hadn't been there in a long time, and I haven't been there in the winter in a long time, and I'm actually really very much missing the snow. But there was a moment where it was like a flyover, a winter Rocky Mountain scene, and I cried. I think I had a few other moments where I was brought to tears with, they had concert tickets on the ceiling. They actually were able to kind of turn the venue into where it looked like we were at Red Rocks. It was spectacular. The Eagles are playing there now. I've just seen some stuff on Facebook, and people are saying that that is also an incredible performance. I am definitely looking forward to going back and seeing something else there. I did have floor seats, as I mentioned, no seats, just general admission standing. And it was amazing. That's where I would prefer to be. But I'm kind of curious as to what the upper seats might have felt like. I don't exactly know what haptic means, but I think there was some haptic stuff going on. So maybe the seats shook a little bit, or they blew air out, or something like that. I'll definitely be back. And as mentioned, what an incredible way to kick off my summer tour 2024. From there, I flew to Colorado. Pretty quickly, I was working. As mentioned, I really did go to work. But on June 14th, actually saw my next concert, Humphreys McGee, at the Vail Ford Amphitheater. It's a great little amphitheater. So many bands have played there. It's in a pretty spectacular setting. And I was excited because I had tickets to see Humphreys here in Wilmington 2 nights at the Greenfield Lake Amphitheater, and it rained. One night was canceled. Saturday night was canceled, actually, because of the rain and lightning and the weather. And then Sunday, it kind of rained a good portion of the time. And I don't know if I've mentioned this in another episode, but I did reach out to both Live Nation. It was Live Nation, actually. I reached out to them. They said they could do nothing about the tickets. They did give Sunday night tickets to people who couldn't go Saturday. But for those of us who had 2 nights, they really weren't doing anything. I think they maybe gave me back my fees. So I decided to reach out to Humphreys, to their fan club or their fan email, and let them know that I was actually going to Vail. And they were kind enough to give me a free ticket. Yeah, I'm going to give huge props to Humphreys and their whole setup. So when I got to Vail, I went to see them, as mentioned, on June 14th, and they put on a spectacular show. Not expecting anything less. And that was concert number 2. Ford Amphitheater with my dear friend Jamie. We rocked it out. I had a great, great night. 2 nights later, I went to see the Black Pumas, who I was not familiar with at all. A friend invited me, my buddy Alex. I couldn't tell you a whole lot. The lead singer was very Prince-esque. The performance was great. We did not stay for the whole show, I have to admit, but I stayed for a good portion. I would definitely go see them again. Black Pumas. On the 20th, it was kind of a spectacular surprise event for me, of which I'm actually going to do a whole nother episode on, just to go into a little deeper. I saw these guys at Jazz Fest, and I didn't really get to see either of them so much because the crowd was kind of in the way and not everyone's paying attention to the bands. So I had seen one of the bands before. I had never seen one of them. And I was so glad that I was going to get to see him again. The two bands are the Rolling Stones and Widespread Panic. Panic was playing 3 nights at Red Rocks. I didn't have a car. I really couldn't make it. I couldn't get tickets. I had sort of resigned to the fact that I wasn't going to get to see Panic the 3 nights at Red Rocks. So I'm working at the diner, and a couple guys come in, and they're jabbering back and forth, and I hear something about, does anyone want to know the hookup for the concert? And I thought, what's going on? So I said, what's the hookup? If we bought a ticket, we were able to get pit passes. It was kind of like we were winning a prize, which was amazing. I wasn't really sure what the whole deal was. I don't know. I talked to the guys eventually. It was totally legit. These guys are in the industry. And so last second, I kind of decided, I'm like, all right, I'm going to go. I'm going to rent a car and I'm going to fucking do the thing. I'm going to get down there, see what's up, and go see the Rolling Stones. And then my boss decided, he's like, would you mind if I went with you? And I was like, of course not. We finish up our diner shifts. Next thing you know, we're on our way from Eagle to Denver. They were playing at Empower Field. I went to my favorite website, cashertrade.com, and I started looking for tickets. There were quite a few that were on sale. He told us that we just needed to buy the cheapest tickets we could get, and then we would get bracelets to get pit tickets. My boss and I, Mike, had a great time on the way down. Thanks, Jeanette, for lending me your hubby. It was a great conversation. We were both a little nervous. We didn't know if we were actually going to get into the concert or not. Being very unsure still, we ended up getting down there. We met up with the guy. He gave us the bracelets. I feel like we won the lottery. We then drove to Empower Field, which is where the Broncos play. And we parked. It rained. We walked in the rain to get there. It was quite an adventure just getting to the arena. When we finally got there, everything worked out just as we'd hoped. We actually ended up walking into the entryway right where field admission was. Bracelets worked. We got in. The next thing you know, we're standing down waiting for Widespread Panic to come on and the Rolling Stones. It was pretty incredible. They had put in an extended runway for Mick to dance up and down. So ultimately, we were about 3 people deep. And that man is a legit rock star. He really was skipping down the runway at different times, playing the harmonica like a madman. It was incredible. I mean, as I'll say in my other episode, it was fan-fucking-tastic. As mentioned, I saw them at Jazz Fest, but I was really far away. It was very hard to see. It was very hot. Lots of people getting in the way. Nobody, this was a totally different experience. I actually knew quite a few people there, which was very cool. It was fantastic. I had not necessarily been the biggest Stones fan prior, but all of them, they were on fire. I mean, Keith, he's the old goat or the original gangster, the OG. All of them. I mean, Ronnie Wood was up there rocking it out. Then you had Mick dancing up and down the stage. Chuck Leavell playing the keyboards, Carl Denson on the saxophone. The whole band was really a spectacular event. Unexpected, did not expect to go. And yet here we were, Rolling Stones and Widespread Panic. It was great. Widespread Panic played a shorter set. I'm fine with that. You'd almost say that Mick was younger than the Panic Boys. They were a little bit more relaxed, I'll say, Widespread Panic. I love them, so don't get me wrong. I'm so glad that I got to see them because I know now they are on a bit of a hiatus as one of their members is going through some health issues. So I'm very, very, very glad that I did get to see them and take them in. Drove home, worked at the diner the next day. Living the rock and roll lifestyle, man, for sure. That was June 20th. I took a little bit of a break there. And then on July 1st, I went to see Brit Floyd at the Villar Center up in Beaver Creek. It's a little indoor theater. It's a great place to see a show. And I also went to that one with my buddy Alex. And if you haven't seen Brit Floyd, I feel like they are the greatest Pink Floyd cover band around. They really know how to put on a Pink Floyd show. I don't know that they do like play note for note or anything like that, but they've been doing different albums and they are on their game. If you close your eyes, you really would think you're at a Pink Floyd concert. Very impressive. The light show is fantastic. I did get to see them at Red Rocks a few years ago with my buddy Alex also. And I just highly suggest getting to see them. And I'm really going to highly suggest that you see all the bands. But if the Stones are coming around, I think maybe they're done touring right now. But if you love them and you haven't seen them or you haven't seen them in a while, take it in. They are worth seeing. I just can't express enough how badass Mick is. I mean, up and down the stage at 80. I want to be him when I grow up. So Brit Floyd, that was July 1st. And then on July 3rd, I went to see Dark Star Orchestra at the Vale Ford Amphitheater. I went by myself. It was fucking great. I'm going to use that F word probably too many times, but they are great. They're classic. They are like kind of a note for note Grateful Dead cover band. I don't like to use the word cover band so much necessarily because it can make them sound kind of cheesy, but they're fantastic. They've been around for a very, very, very long time. Rob Eaton is a senior, and his son actually came on and played Rob Eaton Jr., but he's been a Vail local for a long time, so it was really neat to see him play kind of in his hometown. And I sat up close. I had a good spot. I enjoyed it. I rocked out. You know, my love for the Grateful Dead is deep, so it was really nice to celebrate independence with Dark Star on July 3rd. And then next up was July 9th. Those are my deals so far. I've got like June 6th and 7th, June 14th and 16th, June 20th, and then July 1st, 3rd, and now we're on the 9th, and this was a super special one. This was also kind of unexpected. My dear friend April, we work the diner together. She's my soul sister, my fellow music mama. She loves Melissa Etheridge. And Melissa Etheridge actually played for free in Avon, Colorado on July 3rd as well. And had I not been at Dark Star Orchestra, I would have been over there checking out Melissa Etheridge, who I've never seen. Come to find out, surprise, Melissa was playing in Aspen at the Belly Up. April got us some tickets. We've been talking about going to see her. She's been wanting to get me to see her. So we had a fantastic day. We went to the Glenwood Hot Springs and we soaked for a while. And then we went to Juicy Lucy's and had a delicious dinner. It was delicioso. And then we went to the Belly Up in Aspen. If you have not been to the Belly Up in Aspen, I haven't been to the one in California, but the Belly Up in Aspen is an incredible venue as well. Tiny. It's a little tiny, tiny theater. Has a standing room section. It has some seated area as well. But it is quite an intimate place to see a band for sure. And so Melissa, I mean, we were 2 people deep. Actually, I was 2 people deep because April was on the stage. Just right in front of the rock star mama. She was great. Absolutely incredible. Had just put out an album. I'm sorry that I can't remember the name of it, but recorded it at a women's prison, sort of like Johnny Cash when he did the Folsom Prison. I believe you can listen to it on Spotify, but she was spectacular as well. Small band, a few people, but she went and played the drums in the back kind of with the guy at the end for her encore. I mean, just was belting it out, strumming the guitar like a mad woman, and her voice is on point. Impressive. Definitely impressive. I mean, it was really, really wonderful to see these people out there performing. You can tell the ones who perform regularly. Once again, Mick and the boys out there on tempo. I can't express enough of that, too. I'm going backwards a little bit, but the Stones, they didn't slow down. They didn't slow down the tempo. They didn't change the beat, if anything. They were on. The songs were just like they were on the album. Nothing slowed down. Melissa also on fire, just like you remember hearing it. She's another one that you should definitely take in if you get the chance. And if you're in and around the Colorado area, I went to Empower Field in Denver, and then I got to the Ville Ford Amphitheater, and then the Belly Up in Aspen, and the Villar Center up in Beaver Creek. And then I went to see on July 11th, Blackberry Smoke. Now, I'd never seen them before. My friend Lynn from the diner. I went to see so much music with a bunch of different people. It was really cool to go out and share my love for music with other people who also love music. I kind of went with different people almost to every show. Blackberry Smoke at the Villar Center, also in Beaver Creek, with my buddy Lynn. Unexpected. I didn't know anything about them. I think they've been around for 25 years as well. Maybe country rockish. I could not tell you any of their songs, but they were great. I danced the whole night. It was, impressive. Great energy. If you get a chance to see Blackberry Smoke, I highly suggest you take them in. They seem to have a pretty serious fan base that I could tell. There were a lot of people that were there. They were there on purpose, not just of the first night like myself. They knew who they were. They were excited to see them. They rocked it out and had a bunch of people singing along. I'm super grateful. Thanks for introducing them to me, Lynn. And I will definitely see them when they come around anywhere I am near. So from there, I sort of took a little bit of a hiatus as well. I think that was July 11th. I took a little bit of a break, and on July 23rd, 2 days before my birthday, I went to see Trombone Shorty at the Dillon Amphitheater. That's in Dillon, Colorado. Outside amphitheater, kind of sits right on the Dillon Lake Reservoir area. Incredible scenery. Google it. It's something not to be missed if you happen to be in and around Lake Dillon in the summertime or the fall, especially, and you can take in a concert. It is a spectacular place to listen to some live music. And Trombone Shorty, I had just seen them here in Wilmington also. I saw them at Jazz Fest a few times. Him and his band put on an incredible high energy performance. Absolutely spectacular. I went to that one with my soul sisters, Lisa, Pema, and Phoebe. It was spectacular. They were great. Trombone Shorty, get a chance. Definitely go see him and be prepared to stand up and dance the whole time. When we saw them here in Greenfield Lake, took my dad. My dad said he hadn't had that much fun since he could remember and that he danced all night. The whole crowd was up. It was really a spectacular performance. Really fun. August 4th, I then headed to favorite venue, Red Rocks, and I went by myself. I went to see the guitar master, Joe Bonamassa. I saw him a few years ago. Had never seen him before either. Really didn't know anything about him. I did see him at Jazz Fest recently as well. He is the blues man. Joe Bonamassa, spectacular, moving, emotional. Definitely a rock star on the guitar. And Red Rocks. It's one of those venues that it's a commitment. There's a lot of walking from the parking lot to get there. You kind of need to be in shape a little bit. No shit. You're either walking up or you're walking down. The t-shirt stuff was all the way at the bottom of the venue this time, and my seat was all the way at the top. This was an interesting performance for me because I did go by myself. I had shitty seats all the way at the top. I didn't expect to get any flack from anybody, but somebody asked me to sit down, and I got to say that's a pet peeve of mine. I'm at a concert. I'm not in a theater. It's not the opera. It's not like a Broadway musical. It's a rock concert. And this woman asked me to sit down. And I was a little bit sad and a little bit pissed off, I will say. But Red Rocks is very cool. So I just walked down and actually stood up the rest of the night and danced on the edge. There's so much space that you can take there, and I overlooked Denver and the skyline. There's always some lightning that you can kind of see off in the distance, but you got to go prepared for Red Rocks because it could rain, snow, hail, could do a lot of things, and then the sun will come out. It's warm when the sun's out, and then usually the temperature drops and it cools off. So if you are going, definitely bring some gear and be prepared for just about anything. I went to see Steely Dan there twice when Walter was still alive, and once it did hail, and the other time it rained the whole night. So you want to definitely be prepared. But anyway, that was Joe Bonamassa, Red Rocks, solo. It was a great experience. August 7th, a few nights later, this is kind of my bummer. I went to see Dumpsta Funk. It was a free concert in Avon at the Avon Park in Colorado. It got rained out. I went with my buddy Lynn. I was really sad. Ivan Neville, that's his band. I mean, I only saw one song. It was great. And then the rain ended it. But I'll take that as definitely still a concert. August 14th, I had about a week of a break in there. I went to see the spectacular Karina Reichman. I saw her at the Basalt Park Amphitheater, and so that's kind of in between Carbondale and Aspen. I had not been there. It was a real little outdoor stage. It was fantastic. I went with Anne and Phoebe, and we met up with a couple other people. I actually saw her for the first time in New Orleans with Marco Benevento. She's on the bass. I think she might have played on the Late Show, Stephen Colbert. Maybe she's been part of his house band for a while now. Really great energy, fun, has a song called Joyride. If you like kind of pop and a good bass line, and it's just her, a guitarist and a drummer. They're fun together. It was really a wonderful night. I'm really glad that I got to see her, and it was free. It was like, there was so much good free music in the high country. I do love Colorado. I then, 4 days later, August 18th, I took in the triple bluegrass extravaganza, Yonder Mountain String Band, Leftover Salmon, and Railroad Earth. All of them. Gerald Ford Amphitheater in Vail. And I went with Anne, Tim, Shannon, Tanner, and Keith. It was so much fun. We sat in the front row, some really special friends. That again at the Gerald Ford Amphitheater in Vail. And that was a wonderful night of beautiful music. I really do. I love, love, love bluegrass. Those guys know what they're doing. It's beautiful, lovely, spectacular, upbeat, wonderful music. And I'm going to gather that if you know one of those bands, then you know all of them. I'm excited. Actually, I got some tickets for my brother and I. My brother's birthday is coming up October 9th, and we're going to go see Leftover Salmon here in Wilmington at the Bowstring and Burger place. I'm excited about that. But that was a great night of music for sure. And then on August 20th, a couple days later, I went and took in a portion of Carl Denson's Tiny Universe. Free, another free concert. That was at the Gerald Ford Amphitheater as well. I went by myself. If you haven't seen Carl, I mean, he's upbeat, fantastic saxophone, the flute. He's been around for quite some time. He knows what he's doing, as does his band, and he is definitely worth seeing. The crowd got to me, I will say, so I did not stay for the whole show. I hate to admit that. It pains me to think of leaving early, but I was a little burnt out. It's a lot of music already so far. But I'll definitely make an effort to go see him if I can whenever he's around. A couple nights later, I decided sort of very last minute, August 23rd, to go see the double lineup, the fantastic Negrito and Primus. I had never seen either. My cousin Daryl had been telling me to go see Fantastic Negrito. He's a friend of his. He put on a great show, and I got to give him props. It was, once again, this was also at the Dillon Amphitheater, and he said at one point, he said, "You guys are the loudest crowd I've ever played for, performed for." And then he said, "And not in a good way." And I applauded him. I get a thing when people are jabbering. It's like, especially if you're up front, if you want to jabber, go in the back and sit down, but not in front of the performer. They don't want to hear you talking while they're performing. And I certainly did not pay to listen to a bunch of other people talk. I was really happy that he said something about it. And then, Primus, Les Claypool, he's the bass master. It was a pretty spectacular second performance. I heard all the stuff I wanted to hear. Then I went to that one solo. I had a friend, her and her boyfriend were there, but I did it by myself, right up on the stage, or the rail, as one might say. And I'm so glad that I went. It was definitely a spectacular night. The next night, absolutely, one night later, I went back to the Villar Center in Beaver Creek, and I saw the Sam Grisman Project and Peter Rowan. I want to give huge props to Sam Grisman and his band. I don't know who the fiddle player was. He announced him a couple times, but that guy was spectacular. Spectacular. Absolutely incredible fiddle playing skills. And the rest of the band, very impressive. Mandolin, bass, guitar, fiddle. I feel like there was something else in there, and then there's Peter Rowan playing. It was a really lovely, special performance in a wonderful setting. I think maybe they played 2 nights, so I did only see them 1 night. I'm super grateful that I got to see. I'm really glad I got to see Peter Rowan. So I left Colorado on September 4th, and I figured that Sam Grisman project was going to be my last concert of the summer. And then, lo and behold, I decided last minute to take in on September 1st, 3 days before I was leaving, Robert Plant and Alison Krauss. Actually, I got asked out on a date, and that was a first. So that'll be a whole other episode. I'll talk about getting back into the dating game. So my summer tour of 2024 ended with a little bit of a date, and we decided we were going to go see Robert Plant and Alison Krauss. And I've never seen Robert Plant. I missed the Plant Page days. I definitely missed the Led Zeppelin days. I'm not super familiar with Alison Krauss, and I know they've been touring together for a while, but even though I didn't know a lot of the music, I heard The Battle of Evermore, and I heard When the Levee Breaks. Oh my gosh. I heard the notes, and I thought, oh my gosh, is this really it? Is this When the Levee Breaks? And it was. Robert is another one whose voice is on point. He can still belt it out. I melted. I felt like, fuck, I got to hear the king. Led Zeppelin is the greatest rock band ever. I like a lot of music, but they're it. And Robert Plant's voice was, he belted out a few notes, and it was impressive. And I heard all I needed to hear, and that was at the Gerald Ford Amphitheater. And I went with my friend Seth, and I thank you for a wonderful night. We went out to dinner before, and then we had some great music, and it was a fantastic way to end my summer tour of 2024 in Colorado. Surprisingly, when I came back here, I got back on the 4th in Wilmington, and before the summer was over, I got to take in one more show. Also a surprise here at the Wilson Center. I went by myself, and they were having an evening with Chuck Leavell. If anyone doesn't know Chuck Leavell, he was not an original member, but pretty shortly after they were around, Allman Brother. He plays the piano, keyboards, and then he's been with the Rolling Stones, I think, for like 25 years. It was like a storyteller kind of thing. He played the piano, and somebody interviewed him, so it was just him up on stage. It was super special. It was free. You can make a donation because they're trying to raise money for the local kids to be able to come and take in music. But what an incredible night. That was just unexpected. He was wonderful. He's also quite the environmentalist, very much in the forestry area, all about planting trees, making sure that the planet has plenty of oxygen for us. I think that's one of his goals. It was really neat to hear him and take in a bit of his piano playing and his story, where he's been and who he's played with. And they did this really neat video where his fan base, rock and roll stars, actually gave him props. Before I finish this, I did have tickets to see J-Rad in Asheville. I'm going to give big props out to the people of the Western Mountains of North Carolina. As many people know, the hurricane hit the mountains of Carolina, and they are seriously going through some stuff right now. So I'm not getting to see J-Rad, obviously. Can't get into Asheville or the area. So my fall tour is going to start a little bit slower. And prior to that, or after that, I had tickets for Widespread Panic in Savannah, and that's not happening either. So 2 2-night shows that are not happening. But I do have a ticket to a show at the Forum in LA. We'll see how that goes. That's a celebration of Robbie Robertson, and I am super excited about that. I don't want to jinx anything, but I'll be going to LA hopefully just for 2 nights. It's a quick concert experience. I'm going to close it out with that. Thank you for listening. This, once again, has kind of been my check back into the podcast world. Thanks, because I know people are still listening to some of my older episodes. I appreciate you for holding out and coming back to listen after my little break. My plan is to get back into this more regularly. Yeah, music, live music. Please go see whatever it is that gets you jazzed. Jazz, opera, bluegrass, country, rock and roll, emo, punk, funk, heavy metal. If you are a music fan, get out to see something. Shimmy and shake a little bit. Get jiggy with it. Whatever it is that you want to say. Sing some songs at the top of your lungs and really soak up all that is out there to be offered. Support live music. Get to see whatever you can. Really fill your soul up. Good golly. I saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 concerts in 3 months. I love live music. I do. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I love to share my love for live music with others. Yeah. Concerts. Concerts are my thing. I actually just bought a pin today. I'd rather be at a concert. That's the way I really generally feel about things. I'd rather be at a concert. I'm excited about what's to come. I would love it if you would share with me your love for music. I know y'all are out there. My podcast is geared to a lot of things. I'm going to do an episode on my trip to Colorado because it really encompassed a bit of life, love, music, and space travel. All of it. I did some things. I saw some things. I checked in. I checked out. I did all the stuff. I'm in love with my life. It's challenging. My heart goes out to everyone on the planet, everyone who's suffering, everyone who's not suffering, those who are happy. Be happy and spread your joy with the world to carry those who are suffering through until they get to their joyful place. And yeah, send out some good vibes for all the people and the animals and what is it? May all sentient beings be free of suffering and the root of suffering. I love ya, my people out there, my fellow earth travelers. Until we meet again, turn it up, rock on. Ciao for now. Bye. So we've reached the end of today's episode. Thanks so very much for listening. It's now time to reconnect to planet Earth and all that comes with living on the blue ball. I'd love to hear your ideas for future episode topics, along with any and all positive and or constructive feedback. Please feel free to contact me at ashysbadass@gmail.com. Thanks again for spending some time with me and allowing me to share myself with you. Until next time, please be gentle with yourselves, be kind to animals, and do all you can to allow your authentic selves to shine brightly.